strangest methods of cooking food. Cooking necessitates the use of kitchen equipment. But what if items you don't generally associate with cooking could contribute to a great end result? These are just a few methods for cooking various dishes without turning your kitchen into a furnace. Continue reading to learn more. Before we proceed, please note this. Cooking is not just a process, but also an art which can make or break the deal. It has evolved into a craft, but little do we know about the approach to this craft, except that using an oven, chullah, and steam cooking. Due to geographical reach, geography, and climate, a variety of culinary methods have arisen. Some of these approaches may appear strange, but they were once, and continue to be, one of the most astonishing and fascinating achievements of the human intellect in terms of long-term sustainability. We've compiled a list of some of the most odd cooking methods, each of which is distinctive in its own way. Let's get started. 1. Bamboo cooking. Bamboo cooking is a traditional manner of cooking rice, fish, and meat in various parts of the world, including Nagaland, Thailand, and South Asia. Bamboos are chopped into two halves, and a banana leaf is packed between them with the cooking materials such as rice, pork, and a coconut flavoring. This is now set over a bed of hot coals. This not only cooks the food quickly, but it also imparts an earthy flavor to the meals being prepared in them. The bamboo hash can also be used as plates. Bamboo is also used as chopsticks in some parts of the world. It may seem odd, but it saves a lot of time and effort in the kitchen. 2. Ironed grilled cheese sandwich. You may have done this if you have ever stayed in a hostel with no kitchen or kitchen equipment. Sandwich a cheese sandwich between two paper towels and place a clean hot iron on both sides until the cheese has melted on both sides and the surface of the bread is nicely toasted. 3. Dashboard cookies. Dashboard cookies are created in the same way as regular cookies are, except they're cooked in the car in the sun rather than in the oven. On a hot day, park your car in a sunny hot area and let your tray of cookie dough sunbathe for 15 minutes before placing it on your dashboard. This is only possible if the outdoor temperature is at least 35 degrees Celsius. A thermometer can be used to determine whether the hot air trapped inside the car is at least 165 degrees. Wait patiently for your cookies to melt and firm into what you'd expect to see in an oven. Although the finished result is paler than traditional cookies, the flavor is just as good. 4. Cooking while driving. Fish can be best cooked on the car engine with the heat and steam it generates. It's highly recommended that you don't try this at home unless you have a mechanic to assist you. Place the marinated fish wrapped in heavy-duty aluminum foil behind the car engine and dry for around 40 minutes. Be careful while removing the fish from the engine. Use oven mittens. 5. Beer butt chicken. Do you want juicy, tender chicken that literally falls off the bone when you bite into it? Pay attention, because this could be just up your alley. After removing the giblets and offal from the cavity, marinate the chicken in olive oil, salt, pepper, and herbs. Take a couple of swigs from a beer can and stuff them into the chicken's cavity. The chicken will be literally perched on the can. Allow the chicken to dry roast for about an hour in the oven or on a barbecue pit. If the juices run clear when a knife is inserted into the chicken, it's done. 6. Hangi. Rooted in the ground. The Kiwis literally took this to heart. Hangi is a traditional New Zealand style of cooking food that is still used for special occasions. Heated rocks are buried in a pit oven in this cooking method. Food baskets are afterwards placed atop the stone, which is then covered with more stones. After a few hours, the entire pit is dug up again, revealing your cooked dinner. Similar activities can be found in Hawaii under the name kaula, Peru under the name pachamanca, and Mongolia under the name razdopasti. 7. Ironed food. In this form of cooking, you actually use an iron to cook your food. Mostly used for cooking steak and making sandwiches, this technique has for some reason gained its popularity in the States. It is as easy and fun as it sounds. The ingredient, say a sandwich, is wrapped in an aluminum foil, and then it is simply ironed. You are surely going to enjoy this one. And what are some weirdest ways one can prepare steak? Steak is quite easy when it comes to all the numerous ways we may make some of our favorite foods. Place it on the grill. Cook until it's done to your liking, and then serve, because there's usually only a little seasoning and not too much in the way of complicated preparation or presentation. Isn't that detracting from the fact that you're eating a fantastic steak? That isn't the case everywhere, though, and there are many areas throughout the world where steak is prepared, cooked, and served in unusual and excellent ways. You may not even have to deal with the dreaded question, what kind of steak do you want? Rare? Medium? Well done? Will you want to try some of these? Probably. Will you want to try all of these? Maybe. There's only one way to find out. Check out these weird and wonderful ways that people around the world have of enjoying their steaks. Carpaccio steak, according to great Italian chefs. Carpaccio is an Italian dish that is unusual and that we know exactly where it was invented, Harry's Bar in Venice. It's only been around since the 1950s, but it's been a hit in Italy since it first appeared on menus. It's also really simple to put together. It's essentially a thinly cut steak that's served raw. It's usually drizzled with vinaigrette and served with sun-dried tomatoes and a salad, making it ideal for hot summer days. The main question now is it safe? We hear a lot of reasons why we shouldn't eat undercooked meat. So why should we consume raw meat? It's a strange concept to consume anything like that. But according to the Cookful, it is safe if you follow a few easy guidelines. Get the freshest cut of meat you can, preferably from a butcher who is aware that you will be eating it uncooked. Make it the same day you want to eat it, and don't reserve any for later. There's little possibility of infection because you're slicing it off a single piece of beef. Just keep in mind that freshness is essential. Steak aged with a Japanese fungus. We all know that aging just makes steak better, but aging takes time, right? Here's the weird thing. Japanese chefs have known about a shortcut for a long time. It's called koji, or more scientifically, it's Aspergillus oryzae. It's a fungus, and it's entirely possible to slather it onto a steak and speed up the dry aging process by a lot. According to Popular Science, it's possible to dry age a steak in just 48 hours with help from this handy little fungus. Koji is basically known as the national mold of Japan. In fact, the same thing that's used to make miso, soy sauce, and some types of steak. While the science behind it isn't 100% understood, we do know that when koji is put onto a steak, the enzymes it releases actually tenderize the steak in an almost shockingly fast way. After just 2 days, a fresh steak will be just as tender and flavorful as one that's been aged for 4 to 5 days. Pretty brilliant, right? It gets better. Koji is widely available online, and you can definitely buy it and age your own steaks at home. Have a special occasion coming up. Try this super trendy yet old-school way of aging steak and take that special meal to a whole new level. Finger steaks. If there's one thing that steak is not, it's finger food, right? Not so fast. Head to Idaho, and you'll find a pretty incredible regional delicacy called finger steaks. It was the 1950s, and the owner, presumably looking for something to set them apart from all the rest, came up with the idea of cutting steak into strips between 2 and 3 inches long and about half an inch thick. They were then breaded and deep fried, and that's it. You can try to make finger steaks at home, but those in the know say that they're hard to get right, even when you start with an overnight soak in buttermilk and a dusting of cornstarch to make the batter stick to the steak. You can make these fries with tempura batter and a side of cocktail sauce for sure, but for the real thing, only Idaho does it best. That concludes today's discussion. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. What additional unusual cooking methods do you use or have seen others use? Please let me know in the comments section below if you have any questions. I hope you found this video entertaining. Give it a thumbs up and a like if you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and set on post notifications for more.